Hi, this is Jonathan Rosenhead, the Jerusalem psychotherapist. This week, Torah and Psychology post Pastor Shemos and the war in Israel is titled Resilience. Together we will win. Ever since the traumatic and tragic events of October the 7th, when Hamas started the attack on the Jewish people, on the Jewish nation, we see the response. The response of the nation, of the Jewish people, has been a response of resilience. Ever since that day, all around Israel, whether it's signs on buildings, whether it's advertisements on the radio, on television, the announcements on buses, everywhere around in the country there's this slogan of Yachad Nenatzeach, together we will win. And this slogan is not just a part of propaganda of raising morale, but it's tapping into, not only in practice, it's tapping into the achdus of the Jewish people, but it's a message which sends out a message of resilience. It shows with the determination and the strength and the courage of the Jewish people when faced with adversity, when faced with an enemy that is trying to knock us down. We come back and we overcome this difficulty, and we are expressing this message of resilience, of Yachad Nenatzeach. Together we will be victorious. And the research shows that resilience is a vital ingredient in being able to face challenges and difficulties, and whether it's failures or psychological distress or trauma. This element of resilience is the key factor of helping a person to overcome, to be knocked down and to get back up again, and to come out perhaps even stronger than they were before. This doesn't mean that we want to invite and encourage difficulties and hardships, and certainly not the traumatic and tragic events that we experienced on October the 7th. We don't want to encourage that in order to nurture resilience, but rather resilience is understanding how we respond to difficulties. And there is a way to nurture resilience. Researchers looked into different factors. Part of it can be contributed towards a positive attitude and optimism, certainly being able to view challenges in a certain way, to be able to tap into a more constructive and positive attitude, frees up space. It reduces the stress levels and gives us this space and calm to be able to look on and face this challenge in an objective and more productive way, and in a more effective way. This can lead also to emotional regulation. A person that's able to regulate their emotions better will have will be able to face challenges in a more effective and more efficient way, rather than being caught up with the storm of their emotions and the stress. There are also, of course, genetic factors, a genetic propensity, perhaps, a predisposition to resilience. But partly, apart from the genetic factors, there also is the concept of life circumstances and the way that the environment that a person was brought up in, whether that encourages and is beneficial for nurturing resilience, or perhaps it creates a sense of inferiority or low self-esteem and low self-confidence that can be detrimental to this factor of resilience. If we look at it from in terms of the history of Bnei Yisrael, this idea of Ma'aseh Avos Siman Labanim, the Avos, what the previous generations, what Avraham, Yitzchak and Yaakov went through, created, in a sense, a genetic sense into the DNA of the Jewish people. It created this strength, this courage and this resilience. What the Avos went through now helps us, gives us this genetic predisposition to resilience as well in the Jewish people. There's also cognitive factors, cognitive reframing, that can view failures as in a way a challenge, and also an experience to learn from. There is a constructive aspect to failure, or there's cognitive understanding and interpretation of events, that you're able to sort of understand what is your locus of control, what are you able to have control over. Are you taking on everything in a sense that you are feeling that you are responsible for everything, and that can be overwhelming, or that you don't have control over anything at all, and that can also be overwhelming and depressing and increase levels of stress and anxiety. So being able to accurately understand and to define the locus of control, what is under your control, can help you to regulate and be able to express the resilience in a productive way and in an effective way. So if we look at this week's Parsha, we can see the resilience of the Jewish people. The history of the Bnei Yisrael, as we said, that the history of Bnei Yisrael and the history of the state of Israel as well, is going through challenges, going through adversities, and this certainly is where it all began as well, through the shibud in Mitzrayim, through the slavery in Mitzrayim, the Jewish people came out of this. This is where the resilience really started to flourish, and really the roots of resilience started to be sown. And we read the pasuk, as much as Paro and the Mitzrayim tried to subjugate and tried to punish and tried to increase the hardships on the Bnei Yisrael, they then increased and grew and were strengthened. And Rashi quotes the Gemara in Sota, and there's a midrashic interpretation that Hashem said that you, Paro, just as you are saying pen yirbe, lest they increase, lest the Jewish people increase, I am saying that Hashem will say ken yirbe, yes, they will increase. That the response of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is this attitude of resilience, that when faced with adversity, when faced with an enemy that is trying to knock us down, pen yirbe, lest you increase, Hashem is saying ken yirbe, you will increase, you will grow, you will strengthen, and you will. This is the resilient attitude and outlook that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is teaching us and is imbuing within and inculcating within the Jewish people. This is the response of resilience when faced with with challenges, and certainly when faced with an enemy that is trying to knock us down. And this is the response that we have now, the Jewish people, the Jewish nation now in this difficulty, when we declare with strength and courage and with resilience, Yachad Ninatzeach. Have a great Shabbos and keep well.